And we are back. Let me go ahead and clear all this here, get the logo back. We're back. I'm Zarataro, your lovable ham VTubing host, here with Yo, You Like That, the show where we bring a guest on and they talk about something that they love, they enjoy, they have fun with, and we share it with you, the guest. Next guest is a very special guest and also a very, 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 very old friend of mine, too. Let me bring her on here. Oop, that was the wrong button. Let me introduce the one and only Lumila. Lumila, you are live. Hello.
Hello, everyone. How are you? How's everyone? How's it
We
going,
are
Zarataro?
uh, doing good, having fun, and talk about things people like.
Awesome.
For those who are uninitiated, go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right, I am Lumilahs, a space cat from the future, possibly the future. We will work on those details later. But I am from space. I'm here to do human-esque things, such as play Dark Souls and roguelikes and roguelites. And I don't know, I just like the hard games of what people do down here. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sure is. But aside from those games, there are other games that you like as well. Let's go ahead and get it up here. The game you have picked is one of your favorite RPGs, Breath of Fire 3.
Yes, it is my. I will rave. I will shout from the heavens. This is. I grew up on this game. This is like my childhood.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good one too. I can definitely vouch. For those watching, what is the game about?
it is a RPG. It's a PS1 RPG. Third one in its series. I didn't. I didn't play the second one or the first one, so I jumped in on this one. But you have a character named Ryu for the default, but you can make the name, and he could change into a dragon. He's a dragon blood boy, and you have a party of three, and you just go on this wonderful adventure. And if anyone else likes to dethrone a god or a godlike figure, it's you join your fellow
Then, then,
companions.
then there we go. That's the kind of game. Attack and dethrone God. I'm all about this.
So
Let's freaking go.
and you do it as a dragon. Um, and there's some other colorful characters in this. If you ever get a chance, if anyone's ever interested, look up the art of this game. You have dragons, you have a cat boy, you have a butterfly girl, a bunny girl, a plant boy, um, a gargoyle man.
all,
I don't know.
all the warriors.
Yeah, you have I just like the colorful cast.
It does have a good cast. The world of Breath of Fire is always so interesting because it's not just like humans and elves and gnomes. It's like no, there are your cat boys and bunny girls, but there are like your fish people. There are pixies and fairies that exist. Like it is a wide world of different kind of like people and species.
Yeah.
And that's something that's like always like very like interesting about it compared to just like your regular Final Fantasies where it's mostly just guys and boogles.
Yeah, see, I didn't play Final Fantasy 7 or 8 or 9, so everyone always raves about them. I'm like, shrug. So this is the game. This is my Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah. How did you discover this game actually? Like, how did a young space cat Lumilahs find this game?
So there's a funny story on that. My mom rented it from Blockbuster. Here I am showing my age a little bit. My mom rented it from Blockbuster because we had a PlayStation 1 at the time, and she would go out and rent games on like a Friday. We'd get off of like the bus, the school at the time, and she'd be like, "Hey, I rented this game. It looks cool, so this is it." And it's the rest is history. I really wanted it. We went out and bought it. I think we bought it from that Blockbuster or something. We bought that copy or something.
Oh
You
wow.
know what I mean? Like, we want that. I mean, I still have a physical copy, but it's just like every other PlayStation 1 game. They don't last very long. I think it's in the original case, but it's kind of busted a little bit. You've seen it.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
a little scratched because that's just PS1 life. So that's I would play it, and we'd return it, and then I would play it again, return it, play it again, because you could only rent so long back in the day, like what 3 days at a time, 7 days at a time.
Depends on how much you wanted to pay, but yeah, I was gonna say. But yeah, no, you just rented it so much that's at the point where it's like it would just be cheaper to buy it.
Exactly. 100%. So it's like, obviously trying to convince, parents at the time, hey, like, hey, can we have this specific game instead of, paying the $10 to rent it? Renting was expensive back in the day.
It really was, but it was still cheaper than buying a game whole, especially one if you weren't sure you were gonna like. Um, I was gonna say, did you have a memory card, or did you have to start over like every time you got it?
I think I think we had a memory card. I feel like Breath of Fire 1 wasn't the game where I didn't have a memory card. It was other games before that, and we would eventually I convinced them to have like a revolving memory card I could have. Like, hey, can I please get a memory card to save all my games that I rent?
Yeah.
A type of feeling. So I did have a memory card, yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Just curious. When it comes to renting games, sometimes it's like re-rent. Gotta start over. Gotta start over. Gotta start over.
I mean, 64 was that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. No, like, that's what I'm talking about.
you put a 64 and it would save to the cartridge, and you're like, you hope you got the same Super Nintendo game, or sorry, 64 game back.
all three of those are applicable.
Insert Nintendo game here.
Cool. Cool. Well, what about the game do you really find like the most enjoyable?
I think it's the art. It's a very digestible piece of art. It's I didn't play Chrono Trigger back in the day, so this is like even my Chrono Trigger. It's pretty. It's well designed. I like the music. If you ever listen to the soundtrack, I think a lot of the music kind of slaps. I think it's really good. Um, but I mean, and at some point you get Ryu, the main dragon. He has 25 genes, and you could slice up to 3 genes in a battle to become like a different dragon. So if you want to be like an ice dragon, you could do like an ice magic and then something else. But if you want to be like an ice warrior dragon where you punch instead of breathe ice breath, you could do ice warrior and then another gene or something. So you could, that was one main thing of the game that was really cool, is that you had 24 different genes and you had slice up to 3 options at a time.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of combinations, and obviously there was like the best version of the dragon you could do, which was called the Tyrant. It was really, it's like Super Saiyan, like your character went Super Saiyan, because he got the gold hair and everything.
It was really cool.
Yeah. And he had like a special dragon attack too and everything. And
Yeah, no, the art is fantastic in this game. Like not only the backgrounds, but even just like the character sprites. Like the outlines like just work really well with the colors.
exactly. I mean, and I've mentioned it, at some point you do fight and dethrone God, and a giant snake lady with a woman's body is kind of intimidating, but it's fun. The story is good. I mean, at the same point, I'm not gonna hope I don't spoil too much, and this game's kind of old, but you do start as a child, and then there's a time skip, and I really like when a game just has a time skip in it, where you see a first half and then there's a second half.
Yeah, if a good time skip done naturally can really like help push the story forward a bit.
Yeah, and this, I think it does very well. At some point in this game, it does, and it's like the world just jumps forward at a very nice moment of time. Instead of having to deal with it the whole time, you're like, yay! Now we get to push past it.
Some other things in the game that it has that are kind of silly. It has like a very interesting tutor system.
Oh.
That where you can almost kind of like customize the character's stats to a way that you would prefer.
Yeah. There is the master system, the master to pupil system. That is, the game teaches you really early about it. There's actually one master you can miss pretty quick. You don't miss it. You can go back and get it, but it's almost, if you don't do it right away, you're gonna have a very hard time with beginning levels. But yeah, every character can learn from a different master. Every master has a different stat growth. So if you want your main character to just be all physical attacks, you can go talk to the physical master and be like, hey, I want to learn from you. And he's like, okay, cool. You get extra power and you learn extra skills. But if you want to be a magic dragon down the road, you're kind of screwed, because then you're stuck. If you're stuck with those physical stats, there's no respecing. This is This is a PS1
Yeah,
RPG.
no. Usually, like a plus in something will mean a minus in something else.
That
So,
you're right. You're right. So if you're getting attack power, you're losing magic point, and every character does have a minimal stat growth, and then the masters on top of it influence the character even more.
and then of course we have the fairy
Ah,
village.
you would bring it up. The fairy village. It's a cute system when you because you're essentially breeding fairies to do jobs for you when it comes to like exploring or acting like a fairy shop or stuff
Or
or
fishing.
fishing. Yeah, there's a fishing shop, but it's a cute little side thing because it's actually part of the story to unlock them. Because you have to like go help them defeat a creepy dolphin that eats
Yes, you do.
that eats the fairies, but he likes pretty girls, I believe, and he won't attack you. He won't attack you when there's like pretty girls around. So,
Oh, that's great.
so there is actually an Australian. So the game they made an Australian translation for that part, and because the dolphin is actually Australian, so he'll talk like an Australian in the Breath of Fire 3 remake they did on the PSP. And after they do that, they'll ask you like, "Hey, for our English audiences, do you want us to replay this part in English?"
Ah, that's right. They do.
So
Because it's the thickest accent, oh man.
yeah, that dolphin has the thickest accent, so it's great. If you ever get a chance, just look up Breath of Fire 3 Australian dolphin or something. It's and it's funny. It's like when you hear like a Scottish person talk or something. It's like it's pretty.
Like the translation's almost working designs and it's like insanity.
Yes, but yeah, the fairy village. It's not necessary, but you get a lot of cool items out of it that you don't find anywhere else. And
Exactly. Like the cool thing about the game is that the more you put in, the more you get back.
exactly. So, and that actually goes with the master system too. The more you level up and do stuff, the more you get bonuses. I like you
Yeah,
mentioned before. I like the bosses in this game are actually kind of cool. Some of them have
they are. And
like one you have to fight a giant plant in this like factory at one point, and this like a waste pile, like a waste where they dump waste at landfill. Thank you. I just could not remember the name. Um, and he's you have to burn him because he auto heals like the full life every turn. And
better bring some fire.
yeah, if you don't have fire, you can't kill him. So, and most of the bosses are like that. There's like if they have a mechanic or something, you have to figure it out, or you're just gonna die and have to start over. And I like that. It's like it's got a nice PS1 RPG gimmicky fight. You don't really see a lot of nowadays, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, well, you especially don't see Breath of Fire much nowadays.
Uh,
Who's your favorite character?
so Nina, I think so Rio and Nina out of all the Breath of Fire games, they're always like a reoccurring character. They're not
Kind of like your Link in your Zelda.
exactly. So, but Nina, she's always like some girl with bird wings. She's a Windian, so she's a bird person. Not like an like 100% bird. She just has the wings of a bird. But she's a great female partner. And
Yeah,
I
her first introduction is like, hey, I want to leave the castle and go on an adventure. It's like, all right,
yeah, let's go.
let's go.
Yeah. Like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get out of here. Right at the start, she gets kidnapped, and you're like, oh hell no, we got to save this girl. And then you guys go off on this great adventure of like running away from these horse guys. Quite literally, like they're like stallion boys. They're
They are a menace. Oof.
yes, they're trying to kill you, and they're like the mafia or something. They're part of like this underground network mafia. I'm not sure if that entices you to play it even more, but yes, there's an underground syndicate going on.
So much depth, so many levels. But no, Nina's great. Nina's good in like all the games, like for sure. I definitely have to say my favorite character is probably Ray, the cat boy.
It's a close second, very close second.
He's got the big brother vibes that I always like approve of. He just wants to protect his crew.
I know, I don't know if you people can see the background, but he's pretty much the cowboy right there for a second. He's right there on the right. And that's right. He's kind of like that older brother. He's trying to like help you out the whole time, and his story is actually kind of sad. And it's I like that's another thing I like about the game is that you run into the characters. Each one of them has a story, and it's like, oh my god, you want to learn more and more about them the whole time. Momo's up there too for me, by the way.
Momo is also a good girl, without a
Oh, but
doubt.
she has a cannon. What can you? A bunny girl, sciencey bunny girl with a gun? Yes.
Hey, you want to talk about the genes fusion with your other characters is an option.
That is true. There is a gene of the 24 genes where you can combine with your team members, and depending on who's in your party. So if you combine with Momo, you get a steam engine dragon, like a metal dragon.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. Um, I think there's a character you get. He's like a plant boy. If you combine with him, you get like a plant dragon. Um, I think Nina is like a fairy dragon, I believe.
Yeah, and then Ray is like just like a giant like werecat, like a super werecat.
Yeah, like a werecat, like a cat dragon thing. It looks cool. It looks weird, but cool at the same time. So there's once again, there's some in-depth stuff with the dragon gene. Um, yeah, the dragons, by the way, you get half of them through the story, but half of the other genes are actually found in the world. You have to like you'll run into like question marks and other stuff in the world map and in dungeons that are like crystallized genes that they're not given to you. You have to find them. So you potentially you can always go back. I think there's one gene you could miss because it's right near at the child story. You can miss that like forever in the game if you don't grab it before you become an adult. I think I'm pretty sure there is. Yes.
If I remember though, it's pretty like on the way. Like it's not like that. It's not that hidden.
No,
It's just
it's not, but you can miss it.
yeah. Technically, you can miss it. No, but the gene system is really cool. The other Breath of Fire is usually the dragon things were just like an ability, just like a form you could have, like a fire dragon, ice dragon, lightning dragon. It's just like an ability, and then you could do like an attack. But this was the first one that actually like lets you actually have some customization and a lot of freedom with that, and it pays off really well by adding a lot of variety to how you decide to do the battles.
Yeah, you don't. 1 and 2 doesn't do that. Even 4, all you really do is you summon dragons in fights. You don't really. I love 4 too, but 3 really has this really cool in-depth gene system that changes the way how you do battles. And nothing stops you from ever if you just want to turn into a dragon every combat, as long as you have the magic points. Sure. Something we didn't mention. We had that tutor system. You can actually learn abilities from the enemies. So if an enemy is using,
Oh, that's true.
yeah, if the enemy is using like burn, like a fire skill, and you want to learn that, you can learn that from that enemy. It may not be instant. It's kind of random if you learn it or not, but
It's a lot of RNG in that is for sure.
yeah, yeah. So, like right at the start, there's a fire goo, essentially like a fire slime, or a mage slime. If you want to learn fire from him, I strongly suggest get it because it makes the certain fight later much easier. But you can get a fire skill right off the bat.
See, the game just keeps on giving. So I'm sure this is like an obvious, but you would definitely recommend this as probably like a easy, what's the word I'm looking for? Like an easy first jump into the Breath of Fire series.
I think so. As someone who jumped into this is my first one. I think this is the most digestible of the Fire Emblem. My God, Breath of Fire series. I think 1 could be overwhelming. I think 2 is almost digestible. I think that's an easy entry. But it's kind of hard. I feel like we played it together, and we still needed a walkthrough half the time.
Yeah, it's easy to get lost in those games.
Breath of Fire.
But this one is actually pretty straightforward.
Yeah, very linear. You should never get lost in this. At one point you have to feed sushi. You have to feed a guy fish to get a sea map. but he hates fish, so you have to make sushi for him. I think that may be the hardest point in this because you have to go back to previous areas you've been to find the ingredients to make the sushi, and that it's the game tells you where to find it, but kind of hard. Like it can be kind of difficult.
Yeah.
So I think four is digestible. I think 3 and 4 are very linear, like a very linear RPG, not much sway. Besides,
Yeah, they're kind of like rooted. If I remember, like even like the world map is like it's not like you're going from like point to point, but like there is a path that leads to the next area that you are following.
so you can't really mess it up. If you get lost, you're like, okay, you didn't go a certain direction long enough.
Yeah,
or far enough.
just hug the wall, and keep walking around. You'll find something.
Yeah, it's like a maze. You just hug the wall long enough, you'll eventually find the right point to go.
Yeah, but sadly though, the Breath of Fire series is pretty dead. Capcom does seem to like want to like remake some old stuff, so it'd be nice if we can maybe get some remaster or maybe even like a new Breath of Fire 6, because not the Breath of Fire 6 that they put on browsers in Japan. A real Breath of Fire 6.
I know. I remember that they're like the Breath of Fire 6 is coming out, but it was like a browser game or something. Ugh.
A browser game that's super poopy.
Yeah. Whoopsie.
Whoopsie.
Whoops. Just the Capcom may have dropped the ball there.
They dropped a lot of balls back then. But yeah, but there is like an indie game coming out that's very like inspired by this, right?
Yes, I have been watching it. They just had a Kickstarter. I'm not sure if they actually. Hopefully they got enough for their Kickstarter. It's pretty much Breath of Fire inspired. It's called Tears of Magic, and whoever the person making that mega loves Breath of Fire as much as I do, and I love seeing that work. I think they made characters a dragon as well, so it's like a dragon as well, or it's like it's.
Hey, you can't put a copyright on dragon, people.
This is true. So, it's. I'm excited to see where that goes. 100%.
Fingers crossed.
Once again, Tears of Magic. If you're curious, it's pretty like this. It took strong inspirations from 3.
All right. Well, we got some time, so we will take a question from the audience. Audience, if you have a question in regards to the Breath of Fire series or just for Lumilahs in general, please feel free to ask it in the chat.
Don't be afraid. I don't bite. Maybe.
So does Lumilahs cat have gene transformations?
Ah.
He turned into a giant super cat.
I mean, I'm already pretty tall. I'm like 6'3" space cat over here. Way taller than you.
I have to put the camera up very close to the desk so that people can see me.
I can imagine that. That's funny. So it's, you know what? You give me ideas for possible future fun, okay? With gene transformation, it's.
Well, that's what I'm here for. I'm totally not also your manager.
This is true, right? I mean, it does come up a lot, but me and Zarataro have known each other for a hot minute.
Out of the gene options, what is your favorite combo?
Oh, man.
Super gold form?
For me or for you, actually?
For me, it's super gold form.
I think, so at one point, you can combine, it's the warrior form. It's because you can combine the warrior with like the super mega gene, and then you could combine it with another gene to let you control it. So you get this super warrior mode, and you just start punching things. You just so much damage, so much fun. But if you don't want that form, you can also be like a fire warrior dragon, and you can just fire punch everything to death. It's really, because if I'd have any criticism in this game, physical attacks are so much better than magic.
Yeah.
It's not that because like magic is bad. It's just, when you do like 50 damage with the magic skill and you punch for 100, your intuition should be like, I'm just gonna melee attack. So, um,
Oh, early in the game, the behemoth combo is also a good
oh
one.
yeah, the behemoth when you
It can tank a lot of hits, and it deals pretty good damage.
yes, the behemoth uses like it essentially makes your 3 party into 1 party. It combines like all their stats together, so it gets a bunch of HP, bunch of stat growth, and you start just slamming into things.
Yeah, I think it has an AoE too, so it's pretty good against like a mob of enemies that you're a little worried about.
Yeah, 100%. Another thing about this game is sometimes you'll run into a fight that will body you, like a basic bunch of enemies or something. Um, and you really can't do much about it.
Make sure you save often.
Yes, exactly. Don't be afraid that.
No autosave on this one.
Yes, there is no autosave. You have to go back to like a city or save in the field. There's no um, magical save anywhere function. If anyone does play this game, I strongly suggest you buy a bunch of herbs and keep mending and herbs on you at all times. It saves a bunch of mana and it keeps your people topped up at all times. Um, I don't know if I could bring this up. There is actually a randomizer for this, and I have played it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a.
I hear it's nonsense.
It is pretty nonsense. It's. So obviously I played on the emulator, and it shuffled everything up. So I had to figure out it shuffled like their stat growth, their what abilities they could learn, and what items they could equip. So the casters can only equip like caster gear. Your main character can only equip like roguish, like medium leather, and a little bit of heavy armor. So you got to kind of take that into account, even in the base game too. So you might find something that like what plate armor, he might not be able to wear it,
Yeah.
but some of your other characters might. It's so the randomizer shuffles. I mean, obviously you can. It's whatever you wanted with the randomizer, but it was also super cool to find weapons and items like right off the beginning of the game.
Ooh, I bet.
Take your favorite RPG and imagine getting like I don't know, let's say Final Fantasy VII. What's a strong Final Fantasy VII weapon? You get Ultimate Excalibur right there. You just first chest, boom, Excalibur, and you're like, all right, I guess this first part of the game is gonna be cakewalk.
Let's go.
So, and I also in this randomizer, the bosses had different like spells and abilities. So and different weaknesses. So that made a lot of weird fights. Like there's at one point, there's a boss you fight in this cavern, and he's supposed to have these like 2 fire torches that like constantly shoot fire at him, supposed to heal him because he's fire absorbing. But the randomizer shuffled and he had like weakness to fire. So he just got demolished by these fires because they're supposed to help him. You're supposed to put out the fires because if you don't, they're healing him for like 60 points per fire, and if you don't put it out, you're climbing this really attrition battle.
Yeah.
But the randomizer was like, nah, we're gonna make this a little easier.
That's neat.
But yeah.
Well, Lumilah, I want to thank you for coming on to the show. What is your future plan? What are you going to be streaming next?
So hopefully finish, more Mars and Rabbids. I hope everyone enjoys it as much as I do. It's fun. It's that XCOM Mario game.
It's the new one, right? The Galaxy Mario and Rabbids?
Sparks of Hope. We got our boy.
Yeah.
I hope he's the Rabbids version of Bowser. A part of me wants him to be, but I don't know yet. We'll find out. Call of Duty's up there too. That's in the works. Maybe more Returnal. But those are kind of about it. So we have roguelike, we got an XCOM game, and we have Shoot Bang.
Nice. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I want to thank everyone for coming by and watching all the Yo You Like That's today. It was a lot of fun. We had 4 guests, 4 awesome games and genres and everything, and it was such a good time. Yo You Like That will be taking a break next week for Thanksgiving, but we will be resuming on the following Wednesday, which will be... Let me get my calendar up.
See if I can see with that too.
The 30th. We will be resuming on the 30th. So look forward to more Yo You Like That after the break.
Awesome.
Lumilah, thank you so much. for doing this with me. It was a lot of fun.
100%.
And we definitely need to finish Breath of Fire 2.
Yes, we did not finish that.
But anyway, y'all have a good night, and I will talk to everyone later. Bye, Q.
Bye, everyone.